All right, so here's the thing for us fellas when it comes to um, us leaving a long term relationship or marriage and we're hurt, right? And we don't necessarily have an outlet to express ourselves, really, right? Because a lot of the times we just hold a lot of stuff in when we're hurt, right? We weren't necessarily taught as young men growing up to really talk about the things that we're going through. You know what I mean? Talk about our hurt, talk about our pain, right? So a lot of the times when we get out of these relationships, that pain, that hurt, that anger, that frustration, all of this stuff, although we don't necessarily verbalize it, it manifests itself in other ways, right? And most of the time, pretty much all the time really, it manifests itself in clutter, right? And that's not only physical clutter. It it manifests itself in spiritual and mental clutter as well. All right. And what comes first, because it's easiest, is that mental clutter, that spiritual clutter, that spiritual confusion, right? And we know a lot of us fellas, we 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 know when we're going through something, right? But we don't necessarily want to see it, right? Because we just can't imagine ourselves being super hurt, right? All of our lives we've been taught to just suck that shit up, right? And so it comes through. It first the heartbreak, the pain, it confuses our mind, right? It confuses our mind a ton, right? It hurts us, and it starts coming through as, like I said, a lot of clutter, right? You're gonna first start seeing it within your house, right? You're gonna start seeing changes in the way you upkeep your home, right? It's going to be something in your mind that's going to click and tell you that um, it's okay to live with a bunch of trash around you, right? You're going to start just throwing your clothes everywhere. You're going to start waiting um, uh, a day or two to start to get your dishes after they've been uh, piled up for days, right? You're gonna look at it and you be like, I can get to that next time. Or your clothes are going to be on the floor. You need to wash and and your mail and stuff is going to start piling up, and you're gonna look at it, and something in your mind is gonna be telling you that it's okay to live like this. What that is, it's that internalization of all your pain and all your hurt and all your frustration starting to manifest itself because you're not talking about what it is that's hurting you. You're not talking about what it is that's causing you frustration and pain, right? As soon as we get out this relationship, you know, ladies don't necessarily notice, but we sometimes, us fellas, man, we go through a lot, right? We feel hurt at such a deep level that sometimes we can't understand, right? And like I said, it comes through as so much. It comes through as clutter. Something clicks in our mind to tell us it's okay to live life in in disarray and disorganization, when typically we're not like that, right? And not only is it going to come through as clutter around our homes and around our house and in our cars, right? But it's also going to come through as overeating, right? It's also going to come through as if we were gym rats or people that are we like to work out, it's going to come through as we're going to stop working out, right? And all of this is because men don't necessarily have a place or a platform for healing themselves after a relationship. Now, I got to give it to us fellas, though. I got to give this to us. We do tend to wait longer than females once we leave a long-term relationship. We tend to wait much longer than females to get into another committed relationship. I ain't talking about just going around and fucking somebody. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting into another long-term relationship. We tend to wait longer, where as opposed to females, most of the time they already have their next relationship lined up and they don't really take time to themselves, which causes themselves far more confusion, right? But dealing with us fellas, right? There is not necessarily a platform for us to to uh, to get that pain out, right? So, in order for us to start getting that pain out, fellas, and I'm telling you this from experience, right? You have to notice your surroundings. You have to start understanding um, what's going on. When you see you're at the point to where you're feeling like it's okay to start living your life um, mentally, physically, spiritually, in so much disarray, disorganization, and in clutter. Start cleaning up. Start just picking your clothes up one thing at a time, right? Start putting them in the proper places. Get what I'm saying? Like, what that does is it brings you to a realization of where you are. And it brings you to a point to where you're saying to yourself, yeah, I think I do got to start cleaning up. And it's not okay to live like this. And I'm telling you this from experience, man. I'm telling you this from experience, from what I've been through. Like, after my marriage, right? Um, I checked out. And there was something inside of me that just says, do whatever makes you feel good as opposed to what's right for you to get past all this hurt and all this trauma and all this pain that you're dealing with, right? And so that's when the overeating came in, and that's when, personally, I started to gain weight. Um, my home became all in disarray and nasty and junky, and dirty. Like I said, my mail started to pile up. I wasn't throwing away things as I should have been. And a lot of us fellas deal with this, right? So when you see that, just take a second to yourself. Take a few minutes to yourself, right? And just start cleaning up one section at a time. One section at a time. If it's your bedroom, that's the most. You tackle that. If it's your kitchen, that's the most. Got the most clutter in it. Tackle that, because that's going to start changing your psyche, right? That's going to start changing how you feel about things. Now, if you and your wife or you and your long-term partner that you were in a relationship with was living with you, and that person just happens to move out. Well, one thing you got to do, if they have left clothes and they have left toothbrushes and uh, movies and paperwork and all that stuff are there, see that as they wanted. You have to see it as they wanted you for your best, right? But then when they left, they wanted to take your best with them, but they wanted to leave the trash behind. You get what I'm saying? They wanted to take everything good that you brought. They want to take that, but then all the trash and things that they felt like it was unnecessary to have, they wanted to leave behind. And they left that trash there with you to clean up. Right? This is the first thing you probably want to start getting rid of. Because then that tells you it's not okay for someone to just leave their bullshit behind with me. Right? You throw that shit out first. Throw that shit out first. That's going to eliminate so much heartache. That's going to eliminate so much pain, and it's going to get rid of memories, and that's going to clear you spiritually of them. It's going to clear you mentally of them. It's going to clear you physically of them. It's going to clear your mind enough to where now you can see your mess. Right? And people that's listening understand what I'm talking about. I ain't just talking about, cleaning out what's physical, right? I'm telling you how to get over these relationships and how to deal with your pain and how to deal with your trauma. Because again, fellas, we don't necessarily have a huge outlet to where we can express ourselves and get over. This is why it's damn good to have friends to talk to outside of your woman, right? But when that person leaves, their trash, the things they don't want, all the messiness behind, and they leave it with you, that tells you a lot about who that person was. Right? That tells you that they were there just to use you for what it is good that you had to offer. And they wanted to take that. They wanted to be what people call an energy vampire. Right? All the positive vibrations, whatever that is, they wanted to take all the goodness and all the greatness and joy that you brought. They want to take that with them, but leave behind all the mess and trash and disgustingness for you to clean up. So anything that's not yours, physically that's not yours, get rid of it first. Right? And if you know where they live now, you take all that shit that they left, right? And you take it and you drop it off at their doorstep. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't saying go over there and start no shit, but hey, it's like, hey, you can take your trash back. I don't need it anymore. You get what I'm saying? A lot of those fellas we don't really see this, so I'm trying to help you all, right? And then that clears up enough space in yourself so that you can start clearing out you. You understand what I'm saying? Throwing that old mail away, folding your clothes up, making your bed up. You get what I'm saying? Get back to working out. Get back to fasting. Everything good that you used to do before you got in a relationship, right now you can get back to it. You can get back to finding yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, fellas, that's just a little bit. But I'll holler at you.